Now then folks, welcome to day 9 of the Coast to Coast. You joined me outside the Grinton Youth Hostel. I stayed in a room up in that tower last night. It was pretty sparse, to be honest. It's 10 o'clock. I'd hoped to get going a bit earlier today as we're going to Richmond, and I'd sort of hoped to have a little look round. It's the biggest town on the route, but it's a real faff once you've got loads of wet stuff to air out. That just all adds time to the morning routine. It's probably 2 hours since I had my breakfast, to be honest. Anyway, today's probably one of the shorter routes, a bit up and down. And as I say, we're going from Reeth, or Grinton, which is just above Reeth, to Richmond. I'll be keeping an eye out for Rishi Sunak. That's of course his parliamentary constituency. And I was a big fan of Rishi's dishes back in COVID times, sometimes availing myself of the offer for all 3 meals of the day. Anyway, let's see how we get on. Okay, this is the bridge in, so I'm about half a mile down from the hostel now. So I had my tea last night. Looks nicer during the day. It's no longer a Jennings pub. Jennings, of course, having been bought out by Marston's, so they had the usual Marston's rubbish in there, so they didn't have any Jennings on. And that is the bridge that goes back over the swale, and we'll be tracking the other side of the swale, a bit like we did yesterday. Right, so we're back on the swale. See, it's a lot wider now and deeper. I believe it's very good coarse fishing round here. Chub, barbel, pike, that kind of thing. Not seen anyone fishing though on my entire trip so far, 9 days in. Not seen a single person with a rod. There's been plenty of water. Right, that is Marrick Priory there, the ruins of Marrick Priory anyway. That was built back in the Middle Ages for a bunch of nuns by the local landowner. It's basically remained empty, I think, since 1580, at the time of was that the Reformation? Anyway, that's when it was dissolved, 1580 apparently. So we've left the farmers' fields behind. That was a pain, a lot of stiles. They're very, very narrow for some reason here in Yorkshire, tight with space. So now we're sort of climbing through a fairly heavily wooded area. In terms of the weather today, it is bright in the direction we're heading into, and it's not raining, but it is overcast and it's very cool. So I had the fleece on this morning, but now I don't have the benefit of a cold, or don't have a cool breeze because of the shelter from this forest, and we have to stop and take the fleece off because I'm sweating up like a racehorse now. Right, not seen many folk about today, but I guess it's Monday morning for the rest of you mere mortals. I'm not really sure what anything is that I'm looking at here, but what I can tell you is the sun has just come out ever so slightly, and we've got bits of blue sky over there, so that looks very promising. So see behind me there is a coach stranded. It doesn't want to go up this hill, and there's a couple of very frantic teachers, and the coach is full of school kids on a day out, so they're not having a great day. So that's going to be a place where I stop for a bickie. That's the Dales village of Marsk. Well, I think they might pronounce it Marrick. I'm not sure about that. I might be getting mixed up. Anyway, there's nothing there to speak of, no shop or cafe or anything. But I'm going to hopefully find someone to sit down and put this dodgy knee up for 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm in Marsk. It is a very pretty little village. Just in the background there, it's the church of St Edmund the Martyr. I'm not sure when the church was built, but it must be pretty old, because I read somewhere that St Edmund was King of England, who was Saxon king or something, who was killed by the Norsemen. So that must be pretty old. It's also like a load of fruit trees here, contemplating a bit of scrumping. This is a plum tree. There's a lot of windfall. However, I already have a bag of plums that came from Skelton when Ali came over the other day. So I've probably got as much plums as I should sensibly be carrying at the moment, so maybe give it a miss. That's what I'm talking about, a proper bench to sit on while I have my break. Anything to sit on has been few and far between these last 9 days. Normally end up getting a wet bottom. I'm sat on my bench, and I've just seen my first fellow coast to coasters of the day. Welsh fella with his daughter. They're wild camping, although they did stay in the same hostel as me last night because the weather was just so crap. His shoes are falling apart, so he's got a problem. You can see this spot I'm sat in. It's really quite, the sun's just come out. There's still a cool breeze, but it's quite a nice idyllic spot, very quite peaceful, but I'll probably need to get moving before I see that. Well, we've now picked up the swale again, down there at the bottom of the dale. That was actually quite a steep climb up from that last village. I'm feeling quite hot now, so we're going to get the layers off and press on. Right, it's quite been a nice gentle walk for the last sort of 20 minutes or so. I'm thinking that the path is going to take me sort of that way, and then there's this big forest to get to, and I'm hoping that once I merge on the other side of the forest, we'll be able to see Richmond from up on high. That's the plan. I'll be disappointed if we can't, let's put it that way. So I'm in the woods now, and this is really quite different to a lot of the terrain that we've encountered previously on the coast to coast. Really sort of quite enjoying the variety of this bit. I just had a hare, I think it was a hare, not a hare or a very big rabbit, just shot across the path in front of me a couple of minutes ago. Don't see many hares. Right, I've emerged from the woods. I think I can see Richmond. I'm not sure if the zoom will pick it up, but it's like a church tower or something over there in the distance. So not long to go now. And there we go, looming in the distance over there, we can now see the North Yorkshire moors. That'll be a problem, I don't know, a couple of days time. I hope they're not too up and down, but they look pretty ominous, to be honest, the moors. Well, this looks promising. We've entered the town of Richmond. However, I suspect that the actual town is another good half an hour, 40 minutes from here. It's quite a good view, and I can't just see it now, but I think the church I saw earlier wasn't a church. I think that we're going to see that that'll be Richmond Castle. I expect to see that when we get around the corner. And there we go, that's Richmond, and there is Richmond Castle. That's right in the middle of town. Well, there's a nice little surprise for us. Richmond welcomes coast to coasters, so I'm on the right path still, so that's good. Although they have the path arse about face there. Some bees should surely be on the left, but never mind. Solar eclipse, June 1927. This was apparently the centre line of totality. I have no idea what that means, but presumably it's significant. Now then, you find me in the Turf Hotel in Richmond. It's about 3:15. Despite being pretty much on one leg today, I've dragged myself around. Some of the down slopes were really, really tough going, but I seem to move all right on the flat. Anyway, I'm having what we're having, pint of landlord. I guess that's reasonably local, and I'm waiting on a prawn and Mary Rose sandwich on white doorstep bread, proper pub food. Got that, the sandwich, the pint, and the big grab bag of Walker's salt and vinegar for just over a tenner. That strikes me as good value. Here's my butty anyway. Anyway, Richmond looks like it's a fairly substantial town. I'm not sure I've ever been here before, and we're having good time to have a little nose around. In fact, I've just spotted over there, there's a building that looks like an old bank or something, and it's called the Ralph Fitz Randall. Odds on that must be a Wetherspoons, so we'll maybe go and check that out in a minute. Maybe Rishi will be in there having a pint with his mate Tim Martin. That'll be a thing. Well, thinking I might just stay here for the rest of the week. Just checked into the hotel, £90 bed and breakfast, double room, lovely bathtub, really nicely done out, like a sort of top end boutique hotel. Very, very good value. I'm right here on the market square. There's lots going on. I've already seen a few coast to coasters from earlier in the week. So I'm going to try a couple of the local brews now. It's Monday evening. You find me in downtown Richmond at the new Treasure Garden Chinese. It's quite rare for a Chinese to be open on a Monday in my experience, but a lot of the other restaurants are shut. There was an Italian opposite the hotel, and I was thinking just a nice bowl of pasta carb up for tomorrow's long slog would have been good. And then I saw the fine dining sign, and basically I've got like one pair of shoes and they're covered in sheep shit and it's shedding everywhere. So I thought, well, we'll see what else is about. I found myself having a Chinese. I've just had a little glass of Tsingtao, the old Chinese beer, so that's gone down all right. I've tried to be conservative and gone for starters and main. They've just brought out like a massive plate of well, they were meant to be prawn balls, but they're just sort of like massive king prawns covered in batter. But it's all going to help because tomorrow is a very stamina, sort of carb heavy day, calorie heavy day, long way to go. And to wit, that could be having a Chinese, could be one of my most dubious decisions on this little adventure yet. We'll find out tomorrow. So I'm about to film the wrap up for the day. However, I just want to give you an insight into the bleakness of the lonely diner. There's literally been me in all night. I like it that way. Get a lot of attention. Evening folks, just doing the wrap up for day 9 of the Horners Coast to Coast. On paper, it should have been an easy day. There was some quite steep down slopes and my knee really did struggle with that. I tried to film this in the Chinese, but for some reason it all got, the video all got scrambled. I'm blaming that on the 5G masts. Anyway, tomorrow is a very big day, very long walk, and the weather, I've just had a last pint in the Golden Lion and the local Yorkshire weather forecast was on, and it looks like shocking winds tomorrow, 40-mile-an-hour gales, etc. So I need to get to bed. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.